Hi, my name is Deep Data, and today's tutorial is going to show you how to deploy a website using GitHub, specifically GitHub for desktop. I have been to so many hackathons and seen so many developers spend hours getting their GitHub environment set up. You can actually use the new GitHub desktop widget and basically push all your changes to GitHub without opening the terminal and using the command line at all. So today's tutorial is doing just that, and we're actually going to show you how to get a website deployed in about 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. You may already have a website that you have ready to deploy, but in this tutorial what we're going to do is go and download one. My favorite place to download free templates is startbootstrap.com. So let's go there. We're going to browse themes and templates. You're going to see a bunch of free themes. You can use any of these, but I'm going to go ahead and pick this one, Creative, and preview and download it. Okay. So if we scroll down, we're going to see some information about the template. We can preview it. Looks pretty nice. And let's go ahead and download that. Okay. Once it's downloaded, I like us to move the folder to our desktop, just so we have easy access to it. Okay? Now what I'd like us to do is go to github.com, and if you already have an account, go ahead and sign in. Otherwise, we are going to sign up for a new account. Pick a username and put in your email address and a password. Okay? Next screen is going to ask you if you want to get a paid account or a free account. I'm always a big fan of free, so let's go ahead and stick with the default option, free, and finish signing up. Okay? Alright, so now you're in GitHub. What I want you to do is go to the top right-hand corner, see this little arrow? Click there and go to your profile. This is your profile page. You're going to become very familiar with this. On the left, you're going to have an avatar. You can go ahead and change that to a different picture if you'd like. But what I'd like us to do today is actually go to repositories, and we're going to create a new repository. This is a new GitHub account, so we actually need to verify our email. Let's go into our email really quick and verify the new GitHub account right here. Verify email. That'll take us right back into GitHub. Let's go back to your profile and repositories. So now, once your GitHub account has been verified, if you click on New, you will go to the Create a New Repository page. And if you've used GitHub in the past, you're going to know that you can basically give the repository any name you'd like, but when you want to create a repository to launch a website, what you need to do is for the repository name, it actually needs to be your username.github.io. So in this case, my username is datademo1 and then .github.io. Okay, so username.github.io. We're going to go ahead and create that repository. Okay. Now on this screen, it's basically asking you to initialize that repository on your local machine. In the past, you would always have to do it using the command line, but today's GitHub has this great tool. So what I want you to do is click on Setup in Desktop. That's going to take you to a place to download GitHub Desktop. So go ahead and download this thing. Okay. And once you've got it downloaded, you're going to open that up. Unzipping, you are going to double click to install it to the local machine. Okay. So once it's installed, it'll just ask you, do you want to move this to your applications folder? Yes or no. I'm just going to say do not move. And the first thing you need to check is that you are actually logged into your GitHub account using the GitHub for Desktop tool. The way you do that is you go to GitHub Desktop, you click on Preferences, and here you're going to go to Accounts. You're going to log in using the same username and password that you just created. And as you can see, GitHub for Desktop should be signing you in. Okay. Now what I'd like you to do is just go back to github.com and you're going to go back to your profile. You're going to see you have that repository you just created. Click on there. All right, we're back to this screen. This time when we click on Setup and Desktop, it's actually going to launch the application and ask us to clone that repository to our local machine. In this case, I want to clone it to my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and click Clone. Okay, now I've just cloned that repository that was sitting on GitHub to my local machine. So if I minimize these windows right here, you're going to actually see that I've got that folder sitting right there. And this is the fun part. If we open up that folder, this is actually our local repository, and this is when we can take that free template we downloaded earlier. We want to copy those files and paste them right there into that repository. Okay? Now the minute you do that, the GitHub desktop widget basically knows that you've just made a bunch of changes. So you've made 65 changes and you've moved all those files right into that repository. Now what you need to do is you actually need to commit these changes and push them up to the master branch, which is that master account sitting up on GitHub. Anytime you make changes to GitHub, you need to add a note or a summary. So let's go ahead and add that. The note can just be my first commit. Now you're going to click Commit to Master. Okay, so you've just committed your changes. Now you need to go to the top right and click on Publish. And then, after about 20 seconds, you are going to click on Sync. Okay? So now you've actually committed those changes and you've synced them up to the master branch sitting on github.com. So let's go back to GitHub. Here we are. We'll click on that repository, and here you can see all your changes have been moved up to GitHub. The last step is let's go ahead and copy the name of that repository, open up a new window, paste it, and there you go. You have a live website in under just 10 minutes. So you can impress your friends. You can get to the hackathon and start working right away. So thank you for watching this tutorial, and I'll be back next week.